When I directed my first film, one of the actors said, "You need to speak like actors, you need to know our language." And he suggested this book called Audition by Michael Shurtleff. And there's a bunch of elements that actors do, things that they do before they go in for audition. And actually studying acting and thinking like an actor is a great thing for you as a writer. And there's actually like 12 or 13 little like guides or signposts that he makes you go through before he does a scene. So I'm going to talk about some of those. But let me tell you, in general, thinking like an actor can help your writing so much. So one of the ideas is communication. When you communicate something, you have two people. There's the person sending the message, and there's the person hearing it, which sounds kind of like, well, yeah, that's obvious. But however, if you want to be super subtle, if you want to write stuff that's really personal and specific, you can do it if both characters are attuned to each other. So if you have a character who has some super subtle reaction, like all they do is look away, if the other person takes it as offense, or is hurt by it, or it's really like mad at it, that's huge as long as they can pay attention. For instance, I talk about the scene Once Upon a Time in the West. And Charles Bronson, his character, is there with three guys that are there to kill him. And he says basically, he makes a comment about, you guys brought too many horses, meaning I'm going to kill you. Is that a great line? I don't know. But guess what? The filmmakers cut to, I think it's the Woody Strode character, and all of a sudden he loses his smile. You can sense something's going on. So if you have the follow-through that a character could actually hear it and pay attention and took it that way, well, then it's a great line. In Serpico, the lunch scene, if Serpico's partner, Officer of the Month, if he's not attuned to the fact that, oh my God, it's a problem if he goes over there and complains about the fat in a sandwich and basically kind of like bucks this whole system we have, if he's not smart enough to say, whoa, whoa, Serpico, don't go over there, the scene doesn't work. It has no importance, it has no resonance. There's a moment in Silver Linings Playbook where the characters at a diner sitting across from each other. And there's a subtle little small hint, I think by like the way he looks, that he's kind of judging her. He thinks, he's better than her. And she has this amazing look like, oh my God, like she's so disgusted by the idea that she just inferred by it. And it's like, it came out of nowhere, but she's a character and she's an actor who is able to pay attention to it. If you don't have a character that's smart enough to understand that what's being said is important, then it's too subtle. You have the wrong character, or you have the wrong line, or you have to have a line that's like on the nose, right? So as long as your characters are attuned to each other, it can work. There will be a character that you always identify with a little bit more. And when you write your first few screenplays, it's always easier to like make that character have a stronger perspective and make them, always kind of win and be the strongest point in the scene. But don't ever, ever, ever let that character be so strong that everybody else's perspective is actually weakened. What you want to do is challenge yourself to create those other perspectives that might be harder for you to write. You want to bring them up and kind of conflict. No actor likes playing down or weak, not only just for ego purposes, but because conflict comes when two things are equally going at each other. Like one of the most awesome scenes is the scene in Heat, where finally, after all these years, Pacino and De Niro sit down together, and it's like they're coming as equals. It would not be interesting if either of these characters, was up or down to the other person. Harold Clurman, the theater director, has this great way of breaking down, script pages for directors and actors. You'd have the script page, and you would basically label the beats with the ing or the infinitive, to fight, to persuade, to deceive, or seducing, threatening, blackmailing. And what would happen is you'd be able to assess, where am I being redundant, where do I need to make a stronger choice. But here's the thing, directors and actors, they don't have the right to change the words on the page. They can only change their approach to it, or what we call an adjustment. Like I can do this angrily, or I can do this softly, or I can do this like apologetically, right? But as a writer, you could decide, well, it's kind of flat here. Instead of just finding an alternate approach to the scene or to this beat, I can actually change it. So let's apply the Clurman method to a scene from Clear and Present Danger. Here's a very simple scene with a Jack Ryan character, played by Harrison Ford, trying to get some information from Clark, played by Willem Dafoe. They have a quick meeting and now they're sitting down to talk. Now look at this first line. It is kind of boring. It feels like explaining. It could be exposition. So that's why they just do, a few words just to kind of show like something was going on. However, there are stronger verbs you could use. How about this? Persuading, convincing, right? Okay, the next line. I've been out of the game for a long time. Now, this could be questioning or clarifying, because it's true, it's doing that. But once again, make a stronger choice. What about this? Calling his bluff. That's something you can play a lot stronger. So look at this part. It seems like he's flattering, kind of kissing his butt, right? But then the response is to laugh. Well, Why is he laughing? Did he really give him something strong enough to, to laugh at? Okay, so now go back to this part. The conditional "well, I was told" suggests something different. It's not just flattering, it's not kissing butt, it's more a backhanded compliment. Yeah, there's a bit of flattering, but it's also kind of mocking a bit too. So now, the fact that he's come as an equal, Clark's laugh could be seen as like opening up or dropping the facade. They're finally getting somewhere.